At the very least, don't call the FBI on yourself. If you're the one that's doing the crime, don't report yourself to the FBI directly. I would suggest not to anyone directly, but especially not the FBI.
Under the docks, yeah, under the docks. Buried deeper, we're breaking the locks. Footage got clipped, they erased all the shots. They connected dots. Under the docks, under the docks, yeah, under the docks.
Under the Docks presents Mainstream Mondays. What is Mainstream Mondays, Paranoid American?
Mainstream Mondays is when you catfish your own kids.
And then go viral for it, right? Like, I don't know about you, but I've seen so many memes and videos about this, and I was like, what the hell is even going on? All I seen was teeth. That's what every meme was about, is just teeth, beaver teeth sticking out.
Well, okay, so that is kind of jaw-dropping, because I went into this hearing about it before. Like, I kind of knew what had happened, but I didn't know what anybody looked like. I didn't know their names. I just kind of knew, like, the meme aspect of this. And there is a certain jaw-dropping moment in this documentary, for me, going in halfway blind, that I couldn't believe it, man. Like, I actually stopped it and had to rewatch it, and it was absolutely blowing my mind.
And he's talking about Unknown Number, the high school catfish, directed by Sky Borgman. And it's narrated by the family and participants and students of the high school. It's Bell High School in Michigan, in Bell, Michigan, a small city, like, not a lot of people there. I think I don't remember the exact population, but they reference it tons of times that it's a small city, and it focuses on Laura and Owen, a little couple from like junior high to beginning of high school, where they meet each other, both sports athletes. Like, I wouldn't say star athletes necessarily, but up and coming. People knew them around town. Everything revolved around sports. And they started getting text messages, and they were kind of vile, and it wanted to like break them up. And then it just gets a little crazy after that.
Yeah, so girl in middle school, early high school starts getting some of the worst text messages ever, sexual nature, things to like off herself, like the worst things that you could imagine. And it was beyond just like a bullying. It was incessant, nonstop, constantly throughout the day. And you can hear them describe as their sanity is slowly deteriorating, and they're suspecting their friends, they're suspecting each other. The town is suspecting them of doing it to themselves. And because it's like such a small, tiny town, even the girl mentions that like all of her friends she'd grown up with through elementary school. So everyone knows everyone. And now you don't even feel safe in your safe little town anymore. So it's absolute chaos for this town. And I want to spoil what got me. So let's just keep going.
Plotting the course. Let's go through the timeline. A little brief of the timeline. They introduce Lauren and Owen. The initial harassment begins in spring of 2020. Owen and Lauren become involved with each other. The text messages start out like, "Hey, I'm with Owen. Break up with Owen. Owen, seeing somebody else." It's a little bit vile, but it's not crazy yet. And they get
just calling her like an anorexic toddler and stuff like that.
It's not R-rated yet, right? We're still at PG-13. It borderlines, and it's kind of a little bit of harassment, but then it goes and it stops. So for about 9 months or so, 8 months or so, there is no text messaging. And then at the 11th month, it begins again, and it begins heavily. Like, "Hey, Owen doesn't like you. You're ugly. You're a piece of shit. Like you're anorexic. You're flat ass. Like all these insecurity things, and telling like, hey, I'm with Owen. Like to the point of where this couple, like this young couple who already like don't know what's going on. They're in their adolescence, because you got to imagine that they are young. Like it shows them in the film that they're probably like 16, 17, 18 in that film, but they're like 13, 14 when they're initially getting these text messages. It's like the end of middle school, the beginning of high school. So I think that's important to keep in context, because they're getting graphic after a while, like sexual, like crazy, like, oh, he like, you're just giving BJs, but he really likes, getting fucked and pussy this and finger this, dick in them. It gets very explicit.
Thanks for the explanation on. So the okay, I'm gonna spoil it now. So I do recommend that you haven't seen it and you care even a little bit about what the big like thing is. So here's a spoiler: is that they shoot, and this is genius, man. They shoot this documentary in a way where they're interviewing just everyone. Like you've seen a million documentaries, and they interview all the different people. And one of those people happens to be her like this lady Kendra, right? Kendra is Lauren's mom, and Kendra's sitting there, and she's like, "I just wanted my daughter to be safe. I contacted the FBI. We're doing everything we can to figure out what the hell's going on with my daughter." But then you find out that like she was the one, and it was weird how the documentary is cut, because they know going in that this lady that they're talking to right now, she's the one that did this. But the way that they shoot the documentary, she's just a concerned mom being interviewed. And when there was the big reveal, I was like, wait a minute. No, okay, yeah. This is the story where the mom was doing it to her own daughter. You're saying this is the mom that's kind of like playing along as if she's still concerned after the fact. It was this weird, surreal moment where I was like, I can't believe for the last half hour or wherever they reveal it, that I've been seeing the exact lady that's behind all of this taking like the main center stage of the entire documentary. And then she's like, yeah, and it was me and I feel bad about it. I'm like, what? What the hell's going on?
Yeah, you're talking about like about an hour of building this whole story of like this aggressive text messaging, like getting to the point of like telling the daughter to kill herself, and like nobody wants her and get out, like just like vile things that you would never expect. And it shows Kendra and the Owen's mom both working together and getting the police involved, and they start accusing people. Accusations are thrown around. Well, maybe it's this girl Chloe, but Chloe's kind of a bully. You know what I mean? Chloe's always been mean to people. She's close with Owen. Maybe she's jealous of this person. So the parents get involved, and at first you're like, okay, I could understand you. You're in this point of, hey, this crazy things happening to my kids. What can I do? And you start throwing accusations around, but it gets to the point where they're even, I think to me, one of the most like sad parts is like Owen's cousin, like his younger cousin, it gets blamed, and you're like, oh, this poor little kid that's kind of a loner. That's like, man, I'm just trying to leave everybody alone. I'm just trying to get through high school, and now I am the key perpetrator of this, or the supposed person that has been doing all this. I'm getting accused of something I had nothing to do with, and it's just sad because you could see the heartbreak and the mental anguish that kid's gone through, of where she's like, oh, great, I have to go to school, and everybody at school thinks I'm the one doing this. On this one, I'm going to go a little deep dive, right? We're going to deep into the waters, and kind of, there's not much of a deep dive, but I thought, like, again, when we talked about Kendra and the surprise, because that's what made this film, is that you kind of get stunned. If you hadn't seen anything about this and you watch it for the first time, you don't expect the mom that is going out there and like, hey, I'm coaching softball, coaching basketball, helping anybody in the town that needs help. That's always there, the person that you think you could rely on. But I think the deep dive is really going into what the mindset of someone like that is, right? Like, what is this mental? They want to go with this mental health crisis, but I think it's more. I think that it's really on the PDF, right? Like, if we want to get safe for TikTok and safer, that we call it a PDF. This mom was like kind of a sicko, right? they try to plant it as like, oh, she was just really trying to get close with her daughter. She loved her so much that she thought like she could disrupt it. But to me, I think the aspect that they could have focused a little bit more on is that this mom liked that boy. Like if this was a male and it was the other way around, like harassing his son's girlfriend and saying these graphic sexual things, I think we'd be having a different story right now.
Well, it's basically the Anthony Weiner story all over again. She was also a politician, right? But yeah, the weirdest part of this is not just that reveal, but then she starts to even talk about all these excuses of why she did this and why it's normal, and she's trying to build this relationship with her daughter again. And one of it was that she was assaulted when she was her daughter's age, and that this was one of the ways of, I guess, like showing her daughter how horrible the world can be, so that the daughter would have extra high defenses up. But this is wild, man. Like the real lesson that she ends up getting taught is that no matter how close someone is to you, like your own mom could be the one that is your biggest cyberbully. And that's wild, man. That is such a crazy concept. And we kind of see it. And then there's even a little bit of speculation where the people that are being interviewed towards the end, they're mentioning this Munchausen by proxy. And this comes up in a few other documentaries too, where like moms are hurting their kids or forcing their kids to act like they're sick, or actually hurting their kids so that they're sick for all this attention. Because Munchausen is when you do something that you play into how much it's hurting you or how much it's affecting you in exchange for all this attention. And then the Munchausen by proxy is when a parent essentially does this to a kid, or a caretaker does this to someone that they're taking care of. They harm them just to share in some of that extra like excitement and attention, and sometimes money. There's all these different reasons for it. And I think that now it's actually been used so much. They don't even call it Munchausen proxy. They call it facetious disorder imposed by another or something, where it's literally a sickness a mental illness that's classified as you're hurting someone else in order to reap the benefits of like them advertising their suffering.
And it made sense because they even talked to one of her lifelong cousins, and she was like, yeah, she would steal the attention. She's like, right now, while you were interviewing me, if she was here, she'd be dancing and wanting you to kind of like, hey, look at me. Hey, look what I can do. Look at what I can do. Like the little TV kid, like trying to catch everybody's attention. But this turns such a sick and disgusting way. And she's actually was an IT person, and she thought she wasn't going to get caught. I think that was part of the initial thing, that this lady was perpetrating this thing so she could get more love and attention from the town, from her daughter. Like people were like, oh my God, you poor thing, you're going through this. And it was like that guy that steals your wallet and then he helps you look for it, right? He's like, hey man, dude, maybe it's in your car, bro. Like maybe it's in his pocket the whole time. And that's what it gave me the feel through this movie, is she's like talking to all right, let's start throwing accusations out there. Like not only does it get off her trail, but it keeps her involved and keeps her like the focus and attention on her and her problems. And I think that is underlying well. But again, to me, the one aspect that is not talked about as much is I think that her infatuation with the boy Owen, because they get into it of where like he would cut up her steaks and she'd like change her vacations around so like they could go see his games and kind of cater to this boy. And I think like, again, I think if that was the dad, Sean, not Kendra, doing that to, instead of Owen being a boy, it being a girl, I think we're talking about some pedo stuff. Like we're putting him in jail for not just stalking, cyberbullying, but we're putting him in jail like, oh yeah, he's a pedo. But because it was a woman, it was kind of looked at differently. Hidden treasures and overboard moments. What you got?
Oh man, the hidden treasure for me was going in blind enough to where, again, I knew the story. So as I'm watching this Lauren and then seeing the mom, the first time I saw it, I kind of was like, oh, well, they can't be talking about this lady. Like she's just being interviewed. Maybe they're talking about a stepmom, or maybe, this is like a mom in quotes or something. when they actually reveal, like, no, that this is the mom, the one that's been talking to the documentary producer this whole time as if she's ignorant too. So there's such a performative aspect to this whole thing. I don't even believe that editing alone could have told this story as well as it happened. So this lady is slipping in and out of trances essentially. She's probably got way more going on, like you kind of implied in previous sections here. She's got way more going on than just she was mean to her kid for attention. It goes so much deeper than that, and I think that part of her ultimately pleading guilty was because, like, okay, let's just keep it at this one thing. Let's keep it like these two charges of like cyber harassment and not look into all these other things that it could have been. So she still kind of got off easy on this.
And even how she confessed it, right? She is still not telling the full truth, in my opinion. Again, it's just my opinion. I can't prove any of it. She's like, well, I didn't start the text messages, right? Like the first ones came through. Yeah, they were kind of mean. And I just kind of continued it later. And she insinuates that, like, I didn't do all of them. There's like a big chunk I did, but I didn't do all of them. But then when they ask about some of the gruesome ones, I'm like, oh, you told your daughter to kill herself. She's like, yeah, my bad. Like, you know what I mean? My bad. Didn't mean to. And at one point she's crying. I thought this was a pretty crazy point of the film, because I agree with you. Like, the way they painted it, me even knowing going in, like, oh, one of the parents was involved, but I'm like, which one? Like, I couldn't tell. Like, the whole time I'm like trying to decipher, like, they're interviewing, like, they never interview the person that's guilty, maybe at the way end, right? But through the whole thing, they're interviewing both moms. And I'm like, well, which one is it, man? Like, I'm like, it can't be this one. It can't be this one. And you're like, just kind of determined. But after they reveal it and she's crying and she's like, I know I'm going to look crazy, but she's talking about crying, looking crazy, not like I'm going to look crazy for defending my stance on why I was texting these horrible things to my daughter, like a 14-year-old daughter. Like, again, that in context is crazy too. Like, such a young mind, like brutal things about killing yourself and her image and sexual stuff. Like, that was like crazy to me. But to me, the hidden treasure was when they're talking to the FBI. Like, so at first the sheriffs are involved. They're interviewing everybody. The sheriffs kind of like, they're at their ends meet and they're like, well, we got to bring the FBI in it, right? Because
The mom wants to. The mom that's orchestrating the whole thing, that's doing it, she's like, we need to get the FBI involved, which is crazy.
Yeah, she's pressuring it so much, like, where she's like, we got it. Like, and then the other mom, because she's getting off too, is with Owen's mom, I think Liz, she's getting off on like, yeah, I'm helping her. She's getting this like multiple different attentions. Like, so I think there's so much going on, because not only is she getting the stuff where she can console her daughter, like, oh my God, poor baby, all this stuff, I'm here for you. But then she's also has this other weird angle with the Owen boy, and then with his mom, like, we're going to figure this out. Well, I can't believe the sheriff doesn't know what's going on. And I think in the back of her mind and her subconscious, she thought her IT expertise that she could not be caught. So this is where my hidden treasure comes to play when they're talking and the FBI is introduced, which is funny because that guy is so monotone. He's like, hey, like, I'm here to like, and I just cracked up at that part, like how we started talking. But I think that people don't realize that, like, oh, you're using some pinger app, right? Like, oh, no one's ever going to know who it is. It's not going to track to my IP address. And that's how they found her. And I think that, like, it underlines the importance of, like, if you're going to be anonymous in general, like, I'm not saying or advocating for people to be anonymous to be bullying, but, you know, in the sphere that we're in, talking a lot of crap and saying wild stuff about politics and people out there, I suggest people start getting familiar with VPNs and like kind of going all over the place. They find these apps and they don't realize that they can get all the information extracted from them, right? And how they could just take your whole phone and just take everything. If they go to the evidence and they go, hey, boom, we got a warrant to collect all the data from your phone. People think that they could get away with anything because it's anonymous. They're like, well, it doesn't say my name. There is a way to find you. There's these loose threads.
Yeah, at the very least, don't call the FBI on yourself. If you're the one that's doing the crime, don't report yourself to the FBI directly. I would suggest not to anyone directly, but especially not the FBI. And the other thing, too, is that Kendra says that she was in IT. But I don't know if there's actually any proof that she was doing IT for anyone at any point, because there's also capture of her getting into this argument with her husband on camera where they discover that she hasn't had a job for over a year or something, and that she's just been lying, that she would like leave the house and just go futz around in the outside world, or she's working from home on spreadsheets on her laptop, and that none of that was real, and that she had been let go from all these different jobs that she said that she had had. So even the whole part about her being in IT, I mean, anyone can Google anonymous phone app and install it on their phone, and now you're sending emails around. Like, you're not an IT expert, you're not DevOps at that point. So even that portion of it, like, you don't know what to believe about this lady, because her own husband is like, his mind is blown, bro. You see it in real time. He's like, wait, so if you don't have a job, then like all these other things that like the convention and the reasons X, Y, and Z. And she's like, I'm so sorry. And he's putting it all together in his head, and he just comes back out and he's like, you have to go. This is over. And I was just like rooting for the dude. Like, thank God, bro. Like, even if it took you this long, that, you know, that's probably the only rational like outcome that I saw in this entire family. And the poor daughter is shell shocked. And she, at the end of the documentary, she's like, I still, you know, I love my mom. I still want to see her and spend time with her and like fix this. It's almost like the daughter feels bad that, you know, she was involved and somehow she's responsible and wants to help mom out. Which is, I don't know, that was the weirdest part, the so surreal part at the very end of it, is that this person that hurt her the worst way you ever could. And it's crazy because they keep wondering, like, who could it be? How do they know everything about this? I didn't tell anyone. And it's like, well, mom was doing it. They never would have found out if she was not sloppy and she really was an IT expert. I mean, this could have gone crazy.
Yeah, because I think that it's like she's an IT expert, as if like my mom thinks I'm an IT expert for logging into Hulu. You know what I mean? I can log into Hulu and they're like, "Oh wow, you're a genius," and you're like, "Yeah, you know, I've been a little IT over here." To go
Digital native over here, yeah.
To go to the Lauren, one aspect I will say at the end of it where they have Lauren talking to, I think there's two different Laurens, right? Like you have the interview with Lauren in the pink room where you can obviously tell she's younger, and then you have the interview with her in the gray. So I think when they had the interview with her in the pink room where she's like talking about like, you know, really love my mom and this and that, I think that was just added to spice it up, because I think that was soon right after everything had happened, right? Like sooner. And then the later portion, she's kind of like, yeah, well, we need to rebuild our relationship. I haven't seen her yet. I think that it was more sinking in. So I think if you edit it a little bit different, you'd be able to see like a different aspect of it. But I think the overboard moments was just, and it's not a knock on the film. It's just me like kind of like, you know, some of the people, like just the accusation part, it's not really an overboard moment. It's an overboard moment in life. Like pause, pump the brakes, and be careful, because you can't just throw accusations at people, and it can really be damaging to reputations. All right, it's about that time. Sink or swim.
Man, I'm even at this exact moment, I'm struggling. I'm like going back and forth between the two of these. Here, I'm going to give it a swim, but I'm going to give it a swim for a couple of very specific reasons. The first one is that if you go in blind, that reveal is just so impactful. And they kind of caught lightning in a bottle with being the ones that made this story and had the footage edited together in such a way that it really did have a big impact. If you go in knowing what the lady looks like and already knowing who she is, that reveal is maybe taken away a little bit, but it's still such an interesting way to edit together a documentary that I'll probably remember just the reveal part of this, because it was so unique to me. So I don't even care what the topic necessarily is. The fact that you got this like inside look at it, and the way that it was crafted in the narrative makes such a huge impact. It has to be a swim for just the documentary genre overall. That said, man, I don't really think a lot happens. Like the most action that happens in this whole documentary, the crime that's created, is a mom sends some really nasty text to her daughter and her daughter's boyfriend. The end. So it's not like there's murder. There's not like a true crime, real heavy aspect to this. They do a masterful way of like stretching out that statement. Mom sends nasty text to daughter. The end. But the way that they're able to put this together makes it like a really entertaining watch, and it leaves you wondering, like, man, like I can't believe this lady did this, and there's probably plenty of other parents out there doing similar stuff to their kids that don't get documentaries made about them, and that's sort of like a long lasting impact for what seems like a throwaway TikTok film.
And I'm with you. I also give it a swim for the same reason. It's not necessarily something I would be into normally. Like the story's crazy on its own, but like you could watch a 5 minute news clip and be like, oh, that's pretty nuts. But the way they edited it, like they still, even me knowing a little bit and you knowing a little bit going in, like it still was like, whoa, all right, man. It was a crazy reveal. And the way they put it, like you kind of weren't sure unless you know exactly her face and who it is. I didn't even know exactly. I saw the memes and stuff, but I didn't get it. And I knew a mom was like doing these text messages to her daughter, and I'm like, but the way they set up the film, I really want to give the editing crew, man, and the director like kudos, because you put together a viral flick where you're like, all right, this is how we're gonna do it, and this is gonna be an impactful moment, and that's why it went viral. So I'll give it a swim for that alone.
I want to tag on to that too, is that I think one of the masterful things that happened in this documentary is they saw that Kendra, the mom that did all this, she is so manipulative and such a great con artist. They were like, she could probably con the audience of this documentary into not even thinking that she's the one that did all this. And they leaned into it. And it was a huge gamble. And I think that it was high risk, high reward. It paid off.
On the horizon, what do we got next?
I want to suggest a documentary called The Rehearsal. It's actually a TV series, season 2, by a guy named Nathan Fielder. You might know him from some Comedy Central shows that he had. One was called Nathan For You, where he kind of acts like this business guy. This is completely different from that. This kind of like spawns off some weird ideas that he ran into, but this is truly a surreal documentary that if you haven't seen, it's well worth watching. And I think that you're going to love it. You're saying you're going to go in flying blind on this one. I've already seen it, so I'm excited to talk to you about it.
Yeah, I love going in blind. Last time you got me going in blind, we did Kubrick, and that like punched my brain pretty hard. So this is Under the Docks. Go to paranoidamerican.com, killthemockingbirds.com. Share the videos, man. Get us in the algorithm so people can go see this hard-hitting old school documentaries as well as the new stuff that's coming out, because I think this is impactful. This is a new way to do it. This is Under the Docks. You know how we do it here. Like, subscribe, share, do everything you got to do. Peace.
Under the docks, yeah, under the docks. Buried deep, but we're breaking the locks. Footage got clipped, they erase all the shots. Stay connected dots. Under the docks, under the docks, yeah, under the docks.
Ready for a cosmic conspiracy about Stanley Kubrick, moon landings, and the CIA? Go visit nasacomic.com.
nasacomic.com, CIA's biggest con. Stanley Kubrick put us on, that's why we're singing this song. I'm nasacomic.com. Go visit nasacomic.com. Go visit nasacomic.com. Yeah, go visit nasacomic.com. Oh, nasacomic.com, CIA's biggest con. Stanley Kubrick put us on, that's why we're singing this song. I'm nasacomic.com. Go visit nasacomic.com. Go visit nasacomic.com. Yeah, go visit nasacomic.com.
Never a straight answer is a 40-page comic about Stanley Kubrick directing the Apollo space missions.
Yeah, go visit NASAcomic.com.
This is the perfect read for comic, Kubrick, or conspiracy fans of all ages. For more details, visit nasacomic.com.
Paranoid. Yo. I scribble my life away, driven to write the page. Will it enlighten your brain? Give you the flight, my plane, paper the highs ablaze. Somewhat of an amazing feel when it's real to real. You will engage it. Your favorite, of course, the Lord of an arrangement. I gave you the proper results to hit the pavement. If they get emotional, hey, maybe your language, a game, how they playing it well without Lakers. Evade them, whatever the cost, they are the shapeshift. Snakes get decapitated, matters the apex. Execution of flame you out, nuclear bomb distributed at war, rather gruesome for eyes to see. Max them out, then I light my trees. Blow it off in the face, you're despising me for what though? Calculated and rather cutthroat. Paranoid American must be all the blunt smoke for real. Lord, give me a day away, vacate. They wait around to hate whatever they say. Man, it's not in the least bit. We get heavy rotate when the beat hits, so thank us, you're welcome. Fuck the niggas for real, you're welcome. They ain't never had a deal, you're welcome. Man, they lacking appeal, you're welcome. Yet they doing it still, you're welcome.